Dr. Jeff Davis, President of Lordship Investments and Director of New Way Community Development, here today to offer to you 5 minutes to live by. In this program, we talk about different topics ranging from Christianity, real estate, insurance, finance, business, you name it. We try to hit a few topics as we go along. Today, we're going to be coming out of a book I wrote called Real Estate Success. You Can Succeed at Real Estate. Wrote this book for people who are either looking to get into real estate or who are already in real estate and looking to possibly transition. Just some guidelines and little tips to kind of help in the journey. So today we're going to be talking about what is a double closing for the wholesaler. Now, if you've been following our program, then I talked already about an assignment closing, which is one way that most wholesalers make their money. They create an assignment and then they sell that assignment or they assign their contract to a cash buyer. And then they receive their payment at closing. Now, today I want to talk to you about the double close. And basically, understanding again how the wholesaling concept works, you meet a seller and you put the contract together. And then you go out and you find a cash buyer. The difference between the double close and the assignment is in the double close, you've already got a contract with the seller for, let's say, $100,000. Then when you find your cash buyer, you put a separate contract together with them for, say, $110,000. Now you've got two different contracts. You have two different transactions. And when you go to the title company to close, there are going to be two closings. The first closing will be between you and the seller for $100,000. You will become the owner of this property. Then you turn right around and you're selling it to your cash buyer for $110,000. And now they become the owner of the property. Now you may say to yourself, well, why would I do that? An assignment seems a whole lot easier. A couple of reasons. Number one, as a real estate investor who approaches a seller and tells them that you are buying properties, when you are assigning that contract, you're technically not buying, you're selling your contract. When you use a double close, you're actually buying the property. So what you're saying to the seller is the truth. I'm here to look at your property and I'm going to buy your property. You're not telling the seller that you're going to sell it right away because that's not something they need to know. But the reality is that you're buying it, so now the property becomes yours. The only way that this works, though, is that you also have to have the cash buyer. You have to have someone that you're selling this property to who wants to buy it at that price. So you create a contract between you and that cash buyer. It's good in a sense to do this, and I prefer the double close because number one, again, you do take ownership of the property. Number two, it keeps everybody out of seeing how much money you make. The seller only knows your transaction with him or her. The cash buyer only knows your transaction with him or her. They never see what you're getting paid. And personally, I like that because that means you never have to explain it. You don't have to explain why it is that you're making money. Now, I would also suggest that if you're going to look at a deal where there's more than $10,000, and let's say you bought it for 100 and you're selling it for 130, 140, you definitely want to use a double close technique because you're going to create problems most likely. Not always, but there's a good possibility that you're going to have a problem with either the buyer or the seller if they see that you're making 40 grand on the deal. Now, double closing means you have to pay closing costs twice, so you're going to pay a little bit more. And depending upon how you structure it, there's probably going to be some fees for the using the money to do this because you do have to have money to buy it and you got to pay the money off right away. So, there's a transaction that happens in the midst of all of this. But ultimately, if you're looking to make large monies, if this is a deal that's going to put some large money in your pocket, I would strongly suggest that you go ahead on and you close it through a double closing. And that way you have two very clean transactions that no one can really come and criticize because You agree to this price and you agree to that price, and everyone should be okay. So again, my book, Real Estate Success. You can succeed at real estate. You can pick up your copy at www.nwcom.org. Again, that's www.nwcom.org. Or you can go to Amazon, look for books under Jeff Davis, Dr. Jeff Davis, and pick up a copy there. I'm glad that you were able to join us today. And until next time, I wish that today for you is full of both success and happiness.